you know? Oh, there we go. We should be live, but it's time for the sound check. Hello, sound check. We're hopefully using the right microphone. Yeah, we are. Sound check. Hello. Yeah, there we go. Is your audio's on again?
Yep. I always do this.
Stop it.
It's because I leave it on at home and then I turn it off and turn it back on, and everything's the same.
I mean, it did speed up my audio check because my headphones weren't on yet.
Yeah, it makes our lives slightly easier.
Yeah. All right. So there we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Roll Out of Bed, where no matter what time it is,
We just woke up.
Or
got pelted with water balloons.
Yeah, you're very damp, aren't you?
I'm very damp today.
Almost late. Not
It's
quite.
not comfortable, I can tell you that. Wet jeans are not fun.
You could be damper. I'm your game master, Nev.
And I'm your player, Ian.
And as usual, we are playing the campaign Brave New World using the system GURPS. It's the system I'm most familiar with. I've been playing it for about 9 years. Ooh, actually, I think about 10 now. I think this is about the 10 mark, maybe. Yeah, 9 or 10 years. Ian's been playing it for 2.5. As usual, if you want to see how the game is played, you can look in the description of the video and you will find Ian's character sheet for Benjamin Newman. Skills and all the like are rolled on 3 dice, that's 3d6, and in order to succeed, you want to roll under the number of your skill. So the higher your skill, the better your chances. The only time you want higher numbers are damage and reaction rolls. Am I missing anything in the usual thing? I think that's it.
I think that's it.
It's just getting faster and faster.
We're so professional now.
Oh, right, the summary. We are not. Get out of here. Well, we do have many sites. We have many social media, perhaps, if you'd like to check them out. They're also in the description. And Stitcher, which is another site you can view it on if you want to close your phone and listen along.
A Tumblr now.
Don't acknowledge that. I made it and I post on it, but I don't have to acknowledge it.
That's your thing.
That's the only social media I'm in charge of, yes. Oh, yeah. Summary. So last time we joined Benjamin Newman, he had just arrived back on his ship. He gave coordinates to Sam, and they headed off to a sector that was about 5 sectors away, if I'm remembering correctly. He arrived at a small, medium-sized satellite. Upon, I can't think of English words. Exploring, there we go. Investigating, that's the word I did want. Investigating the satellite, he activated some sort of defense measure, which had questionable results. After a little while, he met up with Catherine Jenkins. Yeah, that's right. Catherine Jenkins. And they, after a series of events, escaped the satellite and caused a death of Eddie Sakamura. He'll be fine.
Unfortunately.
That's true. The Sakamuras are just like that.
They just do that.
Yeah. And at the very end of last session, Catherine asked what you want. She's going to start working on your arm, and she asked what you wanted. And we are currently in your ship. Last session, I will acknowledge, was probably the worst one so far, and I will take the blame for that. It went better. In my head, this one will be better. It happens, though, as anyone who GMs can understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, I believe we are good. Let me clear my throat.
So, yes. That was fast.
What are you doing?
Someone just liked our photo immediately.
Our photo on our little social media?
On our Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Follow for stream announcements, like, as it starts. It's always late. It's always, like, 20 minutes beforehand.
It's there.
It's better than nothing. Okay, yeah.
Is there anything I'm missing before we get going?
No, I think you're good.
Alrighty.
Munching on some chocolate, because I'm hungry.
That's fair. I just had a protein shake, so I feel you. Whew.
That's tape.
There's tape on your chocolate?
Yeah, because they should to tape the...
They taped the chocolate shut? It was open?
This wasn't from the brand. They just printed these out and taped them on.
Oh, I thought they taped the chocolate shut, and I was much more excited. I was like, ooh, some little mystery squares, huh?
I wish. That was so fun.
I'll just cutscene you through while you eat your chocolate then.
Go for it.
All right. So as you get back onto your ship, you've taken some pretty heavy damage from that fireball you sustained from Joe. Not Joe. Eddie. Too many Sakamuras. That's entirely my fault, but it is true. And that fireball you sustained from Eddie, you're still standing, but you've been in worse shape certainly, but you took a pretty heavy hit. Yeah, so as you get back, she basically says she's going to start working on your arm as soon as you get to your location. She plotted a course, as I believe I said at the end of last time, to that small moon that was orbiting the satellite. After a few minutes, because it's not terribly far away, it's probably a 5-minute 5-minute shuttle from the satellite to the moon. You arrive at the moon. You investigated it previously before. You saw a lot of small holes that seemed to go down into the surface and several large metallic rods, objects, something protruding from underneath. She pilots around for a good 10 minutes, and after that, she appears to find what she's looking for. She takes the ship into a small crevasse, kind of I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean.
Ravine.
Ravine, thank you. That is exactly the word I was looking for. A small ravine in the surface, and she flies down a pretty good distance. It's obviously not a massive moon, but it has a lot. It's a little deeper than you thought it would go. She gets to probably about 100 meters below the surface, and she arrives at a large bulkhead. You see she goes over your comm system, and she sends several what look like access codes from where you're sitting. And after that, the door opens, and she pilots the ship inside, and I need to roll to see if she lands correctly. It's unlikely she doesn't, but, it could happen.
We crash and die.
Yep, you die right here. All right, that's the end of today's stream. No,
we're done.
She lands it just fine. So you are now in a shuttle bay of some kind. Would you have been doing anything during that time, or are you just kind of sitting back and resting?
Rest.
Yeah, that's fair. I was just confirming. All right.
It's getting a little toasty.
Yeah. So she says, Catherine turns to you and says, "Oh, well, all right. Now that we're not on as much of a time constraint, seeing as Eddie's out of the way, for now at least,
right.
I need to go get a few of these systems operational, and then we can get on our way to the actual base. This is more of a stopgap, kind of a safe house, I'll call it for now.
I see.
There should be a what do you call them now? I think we call them rejuvenation chambers for about now. One of those, few hallways down, second door to your right. If you want to go there and heal up, this could take a day or two, and I'll just be working on the basics of your arm, and once you're out of there, you can tell me exactly what you want if you haven't already decided. But until then, I'm going to get everything going here operational, and then we'll be on our way to the actual base. You don't have to get into the chamber if you don't want, but I mean, healing up, we're not going to be doing much else in this time unless there's something you had planned.
No. Healing up sounds rather lovely at this point.
All right, so do you want to head there? Or do you want to?
I'll head that way.
Okay. You want to head exactly where she said, or?
Yeah, I'll just follow.
Okay. Okay, yeah, sure. So you head down 2 hallways. It's not a terribly, from inside it looks like it's bigger than you expected in here, but it does seem like the majority of it is the outside rock. Right. This is kind of a smaller base inside. You pass by a few rooms. Most of them are in common. Some of them are in. I need my legend. I know the planet, but I can't remember the language. Just half a second. Some of them are in Hiccation, but that's not totally uncommon. You're not super far from Hecate. You can more or less make them out. It's kind of like if somebody's speaking Spanish and you speak Portuguese, like right. It's not the same, but like you can get a good amount. You pass by a few rooms. You pass by one at least that you can definitely recognize as a transporter. You've used a transporter a few times before. Most of the time it's been reliable, save the last time. This one is a little bit different. You can tell just because the doors open and you peek through. You can tell this is definitely a long-range transporter. You've never used one of these or seen one in action. They're fairly rare. They take a pretty large power drain. You haven't seen anything on this. We'll call it the safe house for now because that's what she referred to it as. On this safe house that looks like it could generate enough power to actually use it, but you haven't seen the whole thing yet. You pass by several other rooms. One's clearly an armory. One is clearly a bank of escape pods, kind of. Not kind of. I can't say clearly and kind of. They are escape pods, just not the kind you're familiar with.
Right.
And then there seems to be just kind of like a comms chamber, and the rest of the things are either labeled just enough that you're not quite sure what they are, or they're closed inside. But yes, so as you go down the hallway, you go down 2 halls, and you go to the second door on your right, like she said, and you find this this large. Well, not large for a medical bay. Not large in the grand scheme of how ships are laid out. But yeah, you find what looks more or less like a medical bay. You can see there are 3 more or less large like person size, what you'd think look more or less like test tubes. You know these are most likely the rejuvenation chambers. You can see there's also several surgical tables, a bunch of cabinets that you can see are fully stocked with drugs and medical equipment like gauze, suture kits, things like that.
Basic supplies.
Yeah, and medications, things like that. So yeah, what would you like to do?
I'll hop in one of those potty boys.
Okay. It seems fairly actually higher or lower. I just want to see if you've ever used one of these before. You've used one when you were unconscious, but
Right.
consciously.
Lower.
Yes, you have. You've used one of these at least once before. So you have a pretty decent understanding of how it works. This seems to be an older model than you're familiar with, which isn't inherently. Oh, okay, that was weird. Sorry, I thought that was your phone. It's just music coming from outside. I was like, you have a ringtone?
I don't.
That's why I was confused. It's gonna make a lot less sense for people who cannot hear the music coming from outside.
There's music. You can't hear it.
That's
fair.
true.
We promise.
I hope you can't hear it, otherwise that's gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you've used one once or twice. You used an older model, which doesn't make this. Sorry, this is an older model than the one you used before, which doesn't inherently make it worse. It's just a little bit different. Maybe take a little bit more time. It's a little bit different procedure. Can you give me a spacer? I'll cover it.
Okay.
No minus.
Right.
Oh, is that a no?
It's so bad.
What's that?
Hold on. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So fail by 2.
Fail by 2. Okay, so it's just a little bit. It's a little bit more a little bit more different. A little bit. I can't think of the word I want. It's a little different than you thought it would be. You've got most of the systems, but you're kind of trying to set up the like, oh, here's how long I want to stay in here. This is how high I want to set it so that I don't like do whatever wrong. Here's how much power drain this is going to cost, and you get through all this stuff, and it's just kind of like you punch it into like, okay, accept, I'm going to get in now, and it's just like, oh, error. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, there's a conflict in the commands, and you're like, oh, what happened? Just try again.
Okay.
That took like 5 minutes, but you can just try again.
That's okay. That one's better. What's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? That's a success by 1.
Okay, yeah, that's plenty. So you look over everything you did again, and you find like, oh, I accidentally put like one too many zeros here. Like, I don't want to be in for 30 years. I want to be in for like 3 days or something like that.
30 years would be fun.
You want to be in there for 30 years?
Yes.
I don't know if the power will last that long. I mean, I do know, but you don't.
I doubt it will.
Yeah, so you punch in all the commands and everything, and you basically hit like the thing, the ready prompt, go. I'm good to get in. And you see the tube kind of slides up, and you see it goes up to the ceiling. And there's a small kind of circular colored patch on the floor that you would know is basically like, oh, stand here, and then like it's not quite weight set once pressure sense. I can never talk in the mornings. A pressure sensor, but it will like detect more or less if there's kind of like motion,
right?
And it'll activate the system. So in theory, you could put somebody else in here, but that's not really useful right now.
I'll step in there.
Yeah, so you step in, and the tube comes back down over you. As soon as it hits the thing, you hear the familiar sound of pressurization. You can tell it's kind of like it's sealed. It's not airlocked, but I can't think of quite the right term. Right. From the bottom, you see around where the colored patch is, the floor kind of pushes away, just kind of slides down and out, and you can see there's this kind of grating system. And as the grating system appears, you see there's this semi-translucent, pretty viscous kind of greenish yellow fluid just kind of slowly rising from the floor upwards. This is normal. It gets up to your head and over your neck and everything, and you would know that you could breathe this fluid. So yeah, you take your first breath in. It's not comfortable, but after it fills it's kind of uncomfortable filling your lungs, but once it fills your lungs, you're able to breathe just fine. You're able to get oxygen and nutrients from the fluid. And once it is completely filled the chamber, you see another kind of a small string of how would I refer to these? They're kind of like the closest equivalent of what they look like would be kind of like electrical what are the things you put onto a car battery? You know what I can't think of the word for those. You know what I mean?
Jumper cables.
Jumper cables, yeah, kind of like jumper cables. Obviously not literally, but they look kind of like that. The medical equivalent. Right. And basically you see kind of on like it's now projecting a small hollow screen in front of you just on the inside of the tube, and it basically says like, oh, put these 3 here, put these 2 here, whatever. Right. Just give me like a DX roll +4 to follow simple instructions. Okay. Yeah, no problem. So you get them in what you're pretty sure is all the right locations, and after a moment, you feel a very small electrical current start pulsing through them, and after another moment, give me an HT roll. Yeah. Oh, there goes the die.
Oh, I found it. Okay. So that's a success by 1.
Just by one? Yeah, okay. So yeah, after a moment, you kind of feel your muscles relaxing. You can tell that you're now the temperature on this has slowly been raising, and you can tell it's now at a pretty stable temperature, almost like a not quite a sensory deprivation tank, but tank. So yeah, sensory deprivation tank.
Slow down.
I don't think I'm talking that fast.
You're talking pretty fast.
Sorry, that's just on average. Okay. Sensory deprivation
I'm
tank.
just becoming Mar now. Slow down. That's fun.
Okay, but yeah, so not enough that you're actually being deprived of your senses, but you're just kind of passively floating now. You're not having to keep yourself afloat, and you're not at the floor of the thing. And after a few more electrical pulses, you can feel your muscles all the tension relaxes. And after a few more moments, you can feel you're slowly drifting into unconsciousness. Give me one more HT roll and then a will roll.
Okay. Wow, that was bad.
Is that your HT roll?
That was my HT roll. That was very bad.
What is that? That's
a
16. All right, yeah. So you basically just as soon as you feel you start to go, you just kind of give in and you basically just black out, which is normal for these, just a little bit faster than usual. And your will roll?
Oh. That's
also quite high.
That's 12, 13, 14, 15.
15. Okay, so yeah, your will is 12, correct? Yeah. Okay, so failure by 3. Mm-hmm. All right, so as you black out, your vision slowly fades. Your eyes burn a little bit, like you have your eyes open under a chlorine pool, which isn't entirely usual, but you figure it's a pretty old system. It's probably still flushing out some of the stuff. It's not like painful. It's just a little bit like it's a little bit like you have your car your head out a car window, and the wind is just a little bit uncomfortable on your eyes. Just that kind of feeling. Yeah. As your eyes kind of slowly close unwillingly and your vision blacks out. You open your eyes once again. You can tell you're in a very, very large and white room.
Back here. Am I wearing the ceremonial clothing?
Not quite. Things are a little bit different this time. So whereas before, you remember, it was you were in this very large room. You couldn't discern any visible walls, and how there was this one large gate on the far side of the room. This time it's a bit different. This time there are not clearly discernible walls. Well, yes, sorry. Let me rephrase that. There are clearly discernible walls, still a way out, but you can actually see kind of where the borders of this area are, at least for now. And you can see instead of one gate far away, you can see there are 2 gates. The same 2 you saw before, but this time they're no longer one entity. On one side of the room, on the white side of the room, you can see there is the far kind of shimmery mercurial type liquid, and it doesn't seem to currently be reflecting anything, but you can see traced on the surface of what looks like the fluid is the symbol of one of the closed hands. And on the other far side of the room, you can see as it kind of goes from one side to the other, it gradually, the middle point is kind of this kind of more beige, kind of goldish color. And as it goes to the one side with the mercurial liquid, it gets much brighter until it gets to that fully white room that you were used to. Right. And as it goes to the other way, where there's the other dark gate that just has that one spotlight within it, you can see the room slowly fades to a black color, kind of. And you're currently standing in the center. Also, and you can see on the other gate, the black one with the white spotlight in the center, there is also the sigil of the closed hand. So there's one on each of these. As you're currently standing in the center of the room, it's this kind of gold beige color, and you can see actually straight ahead of you. So to your left is one gate, to your right is another. Straight ahead, kind of like you're looking at neither of them. Right. You can see there are 5 kind of not quite tables, but 5 kind of protrusions from the ground. Just these square cube, just raised platforms. So the same material kind of thing as the floor, almost imperceptible, but they're casting a slight shadow. And you can see on each of these 5 pillars, there's a good word, 5 pillars, they're not very high. They're up to like chest height. Right. On each of these 5 pillars, there is a different, what looks like weapon.
Weapon? Oh, okay.
Oh, also your garb. Sorry, you asked about that.
Yeah.
It looks like you're wearing the same type of the white cloth with the gold trim, but this time you're no longer wearing what looks like a full ceremonial outfit. This time it looks like you're wearing something that's almost ragged, almost torn, and it seems to be a little more than a loincloth. Like it's covering your waist, kind of like a more of a skirt, kind of a kilt type of thing.
Right.
You can't tell if it's intentional or if the garb has been ripped in that fashion, but that appears to be what you're wearing currently.
Interesting. Okay. Well, you dropped your thing.
I did drop a magnet. That's true.
I will move towards the. You said 5 pillars?
I did. Yes.
I'll go towards those.
Okay. You move towards the 5 pillars. They're not terribly far away. You walk for maybe 20, 30 seconds, and you're up to the center one, more or less. Right. Would you like to actually examine what's on each of them, or? Yes. Okay. So from left to right on each of these pillars, there is on the far left there is what looks like a large type of tower shield, almost like a riot shield, but a little bit different. To the right of that, there is what looks like a type of rifle. To the right of that, there is what looks like a pretty standard looking to your knowledge of what things look like, a pretty standard broadsword. To the right of that, there is what appears to be some type of slingshot, perhaps. It looks like a slingshot, not quite like what you imagine a slingshot being, but that's all you can imagine its function could be.
Right.
And at the very end of the room, not very end of the room, the very final pillar to the right of that, there is what appears to be, let me make a little roll here. Let's make sure you know what that is. Just a second. You're not quite sure what it is. It's definitely shaped like some type of melee weapon, but you don't recognize it.
Interesting.
Like just from inferring and from the fact that the other ones are weapons, you're pretty sure this one is, but I mean, maybe it's not. Most likely though.
That one sounds interesting. Do they appear to just be like sitting on the platforms?
They do, yeah. They're not like levitating above. That's what you're asking.
Yeah. And they don't look like they're attached or anything. They're just kind of...
No, they just look like they're sitting there.
Interesting. I want to go to the one of which its type I cannot discern.
Okay.
What does it look like? Just,
what does it look like
generally?
Okay. What does it look like? So it looks more or less. Let's see how I can verbally describe this for everyone who can't see my hand gestures. All right. So it looks like more or less one not long, one semi-long kind of single pole in the middle. It looks almost like a wood-like structure, probably like 2 feet in length. And off of the bottom of this pole, there are two more pole-like protrusions, each about 1 foot in length. And at the other end of the pole, there is this kind of hole in the center of it, almost like a gun barrel. Definitely not, though. You can recognize that it's not, but there's a hole there. And to the side of this one, it's almost looks like it's 2 pieces. There is a small metallic object that looks almost key-like in shape, but not quite.
So it's like a straightened out dowsing rod with a hole at the end.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's a decent description.
And then like another like a smaller thing.
A small key-like object, yeah.
Interesting. Now that one I'm interested in. So you said it looked wood-like, the material?
Yeah, it appears to be some type of wood. Unless you have like mason or like carpentry, you don't know what type of wood, but
wooden is all I need to know.
That's fair.
The type of wood affects very little.
Yeah, it's just a type of brown color. It's in the lighting. It very lightly sheens a almost what's the color I'm thinking of? Almost translucent green. Not quite, but just a little bit in the light, the shimmer.
I mean, that could also be like a varnish or something.
Yeah, it could be.
I say like I know anything about wood.
Yeah, you know about woodworking? You took cabinet making, didn't you?
I have one. I know what a varnish is.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right. What is it?
It's the thing you put on to make it look pretty.
Great description.
It's similar to like a stain or a paint.
All right, thanks.
Whereas paint covers and stain like soaks in and changes the color. Varnish like makes things shiny and nice and smooth.
All right, so you do have decent knowledge of varnish.
I know.
Thank you for that.
It's very basic knowledge. It's like shellac.
Of course, yes.
Let's continue. All right. Anyway, yeah. So I wanna actually pick that one out.
Okay, so as you reach out to touch it, you actually hear right just before you reach it, you hear a voice behind you. You do hear a voice behind you, which is not something you've encountered before. Your voice behind you go, "Patience, Asider. It would be unwise to inhabit a memory without first knowing the contents it contains." It is from behind you.
That would seem. Like
do you stop or do you continue?
Advice. I do stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll stop. I'll take the cat. I would like to turn around and see if there's anyone actually behind me.
Okay,
it's just a disembodied voice.
All right, roll percent. No,
roll to see.
Don't see anyone. No. Yeah. Okay. You turn around and you do clearly see a figure behind you. He's fairly close, probably 5 to 10 feet. You didn't hear him approach, but I mean, then again, this is obviously a very strange place. Yeah, you see a figure garbed in the same kind of golden white trimmed clothing that you were wearing before. His is not torn in any way. His is actually quite pristine. It's a little bit different than the one you were wearing before, whereas yours was a little more plain. Like obviously it was ornate in the fact that it had gold trim and it was white. His is a little bit more like comparing the garb of a historical cardinal to that of the Pope, kind of.
Right.
Like, he's not that ornate, but that's the difference between what you two were wearing, kind of. Like, you were both ornate, but he's just more so. This figure stands about 7 feet tall. They're very, very, very skinny. Almost elf-like in appearance. Almost elf-like in appearance. Their skin is this very pale, almost white, and it seems to give off almost an unnatural kind of, almost a golden glow. Not literally, but just kind of this sheen to it that appears to be like that. You can see that they have these deep purple eyes, which is obviously not a naturally human trait. They're also 7 feet tall.
That also fairly uncommon.
Yeah, and they let's see. Let me see if there's anything else you can notice about them. Wow, yes, there is. Okay.
I'm paying attention.
That's a
today.
3. Okay.
Wow, wow.
Let me think what I can have you notice with that. Let me look at the character sheet real quick. Okay, yeah. So you can notice this figure also has the marks of the 2 closed hands on the back of their fists, the same sigil that you currently have. Let me look. You can also see. Yes, you can. Okay, you can also see as you look in their eyes, you can see what looks like. You know how you can see a reflection in somebody's eyes?
Yeah.
You can kind of, just because you rolled a 3, you look into their eyes briefly, just because, like I said, you saw the deep purple color, and you see the reflection of yourself standing there in this white room. It's a pretty bright room. Reflections aren't that hard to see, and you would see what seems like also 14 other figures standing in the same vicinity.
14 other figures. That's a lot of people or things.
I think that's all I'm gonna have you see with that roll.
All right.
I can't go on with this forever.
That's fair. You can only say so many things about how.
It also looks like, I'll say one more thing. It looks like maybe he has something in at least one of his pockets.
Oh, okay. You said memory. Whose memory is that? Or these? Because I don't think they're mine.
Ah, so it must be your first time here then.
Exactly. But, well, so, fun story. I've been to somewhere like this, but it was slightly different. Instead of it being like a gradient, one side of the dark and one of the light, it was like light and then dark on this side, and there's only one arch. And no pillars or anything.
I see. I didn't notice your presence here before. There must have been some kind of... Well, never the matter. I take it you're Newman then. Benjamin Newman? From Hellsholm?
Yeah. How? Well, yes, but how did you know that about me?
Ah, I apologize. We've met before, but we have not met before, if that makes a semblance of logic to your mind.
Okay.
He kind of stops and he looks at your arm, more your lack thereof.
Right.
There's still the electrical port there. As you're standing in the center of this room still currently, though, with this goldish beige color, you can see very lightly, not enough to like be physically tangible, but you can see kind of the outline of that arm you had when you first engouged that pin with the fluid into you, and you saw the different colored arm, because you've experienced the purple, the blue, and now this kind of beigeish gold one. And this one isn't quite tangible, but you can see there's an outline of it where the port is.
Yeah. Like 20% opacity.
Yeah, basically. And you can see he pauses to look at that and he says, "Oh, things are going faster than anticipated this time. Well, I'm afraid we don't have terribly long to talk. I will answer any questions you pose, but as we're on a time limit for now, I must limit you to what seems reasonable. 8 for now.
8. All right.
Obviously, you can ask more later, but for now, that will be the limit.
Okay, I will do that. First, what's your name?
Ah, an interesting question. Some know me as simply a traveler, others as the Arson of Alexandria, others still as the technological source, if you will. But I believe...
Wait.
What?
Source. Technological source. So it's you!
I believe some have referred to me as that in the past, yes.
Oh, incredible. I've been looking for you for so long.
But I believe you, Captain Newman, know me simply as Vashim, your counselor, guide, and caretaker in this role as mediator.
Vashim. Well, Vasheen, it's lovely to meet you for the first time again.
It's lovely to see you again as well, Captain.
Right. Okay, second question. Where are we right now?
Very good questions, Captain. I understand now why we got along so well at our first meeting. Or rather, at my first meeting with you, as this is your first with mine.
Right.
Let me try to describe this in a manner that you can understand simply and concisely. I take it that you have... Well, I know that you have seen the other side of things, as it were. You likely you've heard the term A-sider and B-sider.
Yes.
You see, you are what we like to refer to as an A-sider from the first... first is a rather rudimentary term for it, but we'll keep it simple for now. The first dimension. Those who came before you discovered a means of travel, per se, to another dimension. We call those the B-siders. It started as more or less a prison colony, if you will, rather like your Old Earth Australia. But it's let me see if you're actually familiar with Old Earth Australia. That's kind of a thing to say. Like, Earth isn't lost,
Right.
but people aren't really from there anymore. Yeah, no, you've heard of it. You know, you've heard of it at least. You understand the reference. You maybe don't get all the nuances of it, but you get what he's saying.
Right.
Basically says, but much like Old Earth Australia, it began to branch out and become much more than a prison colony. And that's when we discovered the other things that were already inhabiting that world. This was all a roundabout saying of this, more or less, is a gap between those two worlds. Kind of a pocket, if you will. Not quite a dimension in itself, but a safe haven from things that would wish us harm from either one.
Interesting. Okay. So many options.
You're fine. Take your time.
I had questions, now they're gone.
You have 6 more. You're good.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't have to ask them all now, but...
All right. So... The Sakamuras... They... Hold on.
No, you're fine. That laughing was not in character. That's just me giggling.
I'm trying to word this correctly.
He's not a genie. He's not malicious,
I know,
just so
I
you
just-
know.
I know.
Okay.
I figured. I just want to
Okay.
like get the information I'm actually wanting.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I understand.
Okay. So the Sakamuras appear to be on both sides of this conflict. What? Wow. This isn't actually anything about the Sakamuras. So what is? Where did this conflict begin?
That is a long question. I will attempt to give you a summary, and I will elaborate more when we have more time.
That sounds good.
The Sakamuras, as you know them, are... suffice it to say they're not entirely human, but then neither are most of humanity at this point. Psionic powers, as you know them, come from more or less a source of sorts, a race we refer to as the inheritors, if you've heard the term before. The term has come to expand beyond that of simply the race themselves. You've likely heard some of the Sakamuras refer to it as themselves in group.
Yes.
The conflict began much the same time they discovered the split in our dimensions. As you see, the A-siders, as we like to call them, are more closely linked to the inheritors. They're a type of... we'll keep the description of the race brief, but they wandered this system, this universe, long before even us travelers were capable of space flight. A sort of sentient mycelic race. They spread their spores out among the galaxy and inhabited various worlds, and over time they began to take on a form more befitting of a sentient life form, a sort of humanoid form, if you will. Long ago, Ichiro Sakamura, if you're familiar with the name,
Yes.
he crash-landed on one of these planets in a small subspace bubble, and more or less he was unable to leave, and, for lack of a better term, they procreated, and this subsequent race hybrid of human and inheritor became the more or less bloodline for psionic powers within the human race. Ever since then, it's been slowly dying down. Whereas the how do you know them? Not in this tongue. The bequeathed, I believe you call them.
Yeah.
The bequeathed are of the B side, Universe B. More or less, the powers of eldritch things that also wandered the stars long before us travelers ever did. Korthun and Korthol, the gods of things unspoken even by us. They have a power source of their own, one we don't fully understand, and
There's crystals.
Yes, there certainly are, Newman. The Sakamoros are not as closely tied to that as you believe them. That is a goal, task kept to Joe and Joe alone. There are others who seek to use this power. Likely you've heard of the preachers of Korthun.
Indeed.
They are the strongest users of this power, of course. Where you're from, they have little grasp over it. In Universe B, they're quite a lot stronger. And then there's where we come in. The mediators. Likely you've seen the sigil of both sides, the seal of the inheritors, the sigil of the bequeathed, and now you hold the mark of the mediators.
Sorry, out of character, that's really funny.
Which one?
Just all of that together.
Really?
Seal, sigil, mark.
I don't want to say the same word.
I know,
Okay.
it's fair.
Yeah, no.
It's understandable. I know why you did it. It's
Yeah,
just
no.
funny.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. You now hold the mark of the mediator. Our task is, well, we have a role in this conflict, is what I'll leave it at for now. To describe in full would take more time than we have, but rest assured I will answer your question in time.
All right. So,
That was 3.
yes.
As the GM, that was 3. Okay.
Yes. These. So you said these were memories. Whose memories are they?
A good question, Newman. I believe at this point it may be becoming readily apparent, but these memories are of the mediators who came before you. The past 14, to be precise, although you will only have access to a short number at a time, this time 5. At other times, perhaps more, perhaps less. These memories will help you to accomplish, well, what you must. We realize, as the mediators, after the first 4 of our generations, that one man, one woman, one being does not always have the full capabilities to accomplish a mission on their own. Sometimes there are skills that one of us lacks that the other perhaps excels in.
Right.
For missions such as these, we draw on our predecessors, on our memories of the past. It's not full and it's not precise, of course, but say you're going into a war zone and one, like yourself, rather a pacifist, if I may speak honestly,
Indeed.
needed a little more combat prowess, perhaps. You could draw on the memories of one of our predecessors, a warrior, a soldier, if you will. Or perhaps we need more of an engineer. We could draw on a famed builder, a starship modeler, someone such as that.
Incredible.
It varies from person to person, but with
Right.
14 behind us, there is a great deal of skill at our disposal, though not all can be used at once.
That would make sense.
I myself am a predecessor, but a bit different than the others. I am your guide, your caretaker. I do not have the same memories to pass on as the others do.
This is all right. You seem, well, quite wonderful, if I may say so myself. An incredible font of knowledge. So that's 4. So I have 4 more.
Mhm.
All right. So the archways, from what I've gathered, they are each connected to one of the other sides, the inheritors or the bequeathed. I should read my own.
I was like, you're looking at your writing.
I saw.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, the th kind of became just a like a.
The
So yeah, the BEQ are fine, but then the th just kind of became a half rectangle.
Okay, that's how you read. No, I understand. You're fine.
Yeah, because I write quickly.
Yeah, go. Yeah, sorry.
So and I see when I'm on one side I have a normal arm, and on the other I have a purple arm. So it's like I've collected all these sigils, marks, seals, and now I have a third. So what's with that? Like, what's with having more than one symbol on my various body parts?
Do you have any body reading skills or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, I'll just roll it default for you then. Just a second. Okay. You can see he seems a little not disturbed, but not upset at you, but like kind of a general displeasure, I guess,
Right.
kind of when you bring that one up. He kind of frowns lightly and he says, I'm afraid, Newman, that's not one we entirely have an answer for. You see, you're a bit of a unique case as things go. Usually a mediator will have our mark and nothing else, but you, Newman, collected both the seal of the inheritors and the sigil of the bequeathed before becoming a mediator yourself.
I certainly did.
As such, I assume currently that you could potentially draw on the powers of either side as well as our own, but it's not something that's been done before, and to do so may be a risky gambit. We don't entirely know, but I'm sorry, was that the extent of your question, Newman?
Yes,
I apologize for my failure to answer it.
That's all right. Understandable not to know things that are new. Hopefully I don't have to draw on the bequeathed too much. Last time I did that by accident, and it wasn't very fun. I grew a big purple arm, and it started punching people, and I really couldn't control it very much. Quite uncomfortable, if you ask me, but that's another story. All right, let's see. More questions. So, I mean, I might as well. What exactly is that last thing? I know what all these other 4 things are, but I couldn't figure out what that object on the last pillar is over there.
Yes, that does make a sort of sense. It's not entirely human in itself. I understand why you wouldn't recognize its function. I assume you were able to gather that it is a weapon of sorts.
Yes.
Yes, it is more of an artifact than a real source of protection at this point. It's rather, that is a weapon from the first mediator, almost pure blood. Sorry, that's me stalling, not him. I have to check my notes. Almost pure blood. I'm mixing up the inheritor and the bequeathed again. The bequeathed, yes. An almost pure blood bequeathed. Its function is relatively diverse. It's well, I suppose you'd have to see it in action, but it suffice to say it is a weapon of functions, and it is fairly intuitive. If you choose it, of course, you will gain the memories of its knowledge of its use. But
Right.
I'm afraid I can offer a little more other than it is a weapon and it's rather diverse. It is of bequeathed in origin.
Interesting. Well, a few more questions left. What else do I want to know? So, you, as mediators, is our job to... What exactly is our job? What is our goal as mediators?
A good question, Newman. Our goal as mediators is fairly simple. As the title would suggest, we are to mediate between the inheritors and the bequeathed, a sort of balance in the universe, more or less. Obviously, at times there are moments when things can become more complicated than simply keeping the balance between forces. But overall, our goal is to prevent the destruction of, well, all, more or less. Powers vary from mediator to mediator. I don't believe that you've yet become acquainted with what you've acquired through your seal. But you will in time, and in time you may also be able to draw on the powers of the past.
Incredible.
Our job is to fix what shouldn't have happened, and to prevent what will not happen, in simpler terms.
Right. Well, sounds like a good job to me. One more question. What do you think I should get on my new arm?
Oh, Newman, that is not my place. But if you were to ask me, let me look. Sorry, that's not what I was expecting. Give me a second as the GM to look at his character sheet and think. Okay. I think you would say that. Okay. Well, not terribly useful as a defensive or offensive piece of equipment. I believe a quantum communicator would do you much good, especially in our line of work, being able to contact a particular timeline, a particular person time and time again without fault could certainly cause no harm, but of course, Newman, the final say is yours, and I can't presume to know your intent.
Well, I much appreciate your input.
Was that 8?
That was 8.
Yeah, that was 8. I was counting. I don't know why I asked. I was tallying it. Unless I accidentally counted one thing as 2 questions, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
That was 8.
All right. Where did my script go?
Yeah, I'm gonna destroy a quantum communicator. I'm gonna get it, and then I'm gonna try to use it once.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That wasn't meant to be a riff on you.
That's so funny.
That wasn't meant to be a riff on you.
That's how I'm gonna destroy my new arm. I'm gonna get it and immediately try and contact someone. It's just gonna explode. I'll be like,
that's really funny because I don't think he didn't think of that.
No?
Okay.
I didn't think of that until I read. That's so funny.
Okay. I'm afraid I must cut our time short now, Newman. I apologize. I thought you would be much further along. Things are progressing quicker this time than they did in previous attempts. You will require both arms for this mission. I can provide you a temporary solace while your arm is still being manufactured. The decision is yours. I, of course, have a idea of my own, but I will keep it to myself. Would you, for this mission, prefer to hold the mark of the mediator, the seal of the bequeathed, or the sigil of the inheritors? It will be temporary, of course, although any mental effects I cannot promise the permanence of.
I should think that the safest course of action would be to bear the mark of the mediators for this current moment, especially as I'm just beginning to explore what this whole situation means.
And so it will be, Captain. And you see his eyes really briefly both of them really briefly flash this kind of gold color. And you see in them, you do see, once again, because of your really good roll earlier, you do see the kind of figures all around you, and you do see you don't feel anything, but you can see that in his eyes, they have a hand on each of your shoulders. Not literally all of them, because they can't all fit there, but the ones who don't have the hands on the shoulders are the ones who are touching you.
Right.
And after that moment, you see the arm that was just kind of transparent before. It becomes semi-solid. It's still slightly translucent, but it's definitely tangible now.
Right.
He says, I respect your choice, Newman. I would make the same decision, though I do not wish to influence you in any way. I believe now, Newman, it is time for you to choose a memory to inhabit.
All right. I'm going to leave it up to chance.
There's 5, not 6.
Well, if I roll a 6, I'll roll again.
Okay, I was just making sure you realized that.
I understand.
Okay.
I will go to the 4th one.
Okay, so the 4th one, which was yeah,
the slingshot.
The slingshot. All right. I was going to tell you, but I was like, oh, he's going to say it. He's going to say it for me. Okay. So yeah, you go to the slingshot and you you just reach out and grab it.
I reach out and cross.
Okay, give me a little will roll for me.
I can do that.
Actually, IQ. Sorry,
IQ. Got it.
They're the same number. Sorry, they're the same number. But yeah,
and right.
It sure did.
It's okay. That's a fail by 3.
That's fine. Okay, yeah. So you reach onto it and you hold together for a moment, but after a second, you kind of see a series of images flashes through your vision. You see what looks like a small boy, not terribly young, but definitely a little older than 10, maybe around 12 to 14.
So an old boy.
Not an old. Is that an old boy?
Comparatively.
I guess, yeah. It's still a child, but yeah, somewhere between 12 and 14, you'd wager. And they're wearing almost kind of you can tell they're from a lower tech level world like yourself. They're probably from a tech level somewhere between 5 and 6. They're wearing manufactured clothing, but they're still fairly rudimentary. They're all very beige and white in color, not very dyed, nothing fancy like that. Their clothing is torn. You can see they kind of have soot all over their face, and they have messy kind of shoulder-length hair, kind of messy black shoulder-length hair. You can see they're wielding the slingshot, and in the slingshot they have this sort of almost an arrow, kind of a. Well, I'd say the best description is kind of a miniature spear, almost, which is almost an arrow, just not quite.
Right.
And you also see several other visions. You see kind of them exploring this kind of forested jungle area and finding fruits and berries and things like that and eating them and cooking safely. You see images of them kind of in this what looks like temple area, avoiding traps and things like that. And you see them in this kind of desert area with provisions, kind of seeking out shade and finding oases and things like that, and just generally surviving. And that's what you see when you touch this.
Interesting. A survivalist. That's always useful.
Oh, and you see actually, no, I have to roll for that. Actually, no, you have to roll for that. One more will roll.
I'll do that.
Whoa!
That's a 3.
That's a 3!
Okay.
I need to look at my lore. You learned more than I thought.
It's the first 3 I've rolled this whole.
That's a
time.
3. Okay. So you do briefly, you see like you don't so much see as you feel kind of the number / Roman numeral / whatever, you feel a 7. You get the sense that this is the 7th person to fill the role of mediator. And you're not gonna get even with a 3, you're not gonna get a ton from this, but I will give you their name. So let me find it. Sorry, it's in my lore, and I didn't have it open because you weren't gonna learn it right now.
I'm just too good.
Okay.
To be fair, this is the only critical I've rolled that hasn't been a failure.
Okay. So you get their name is Casey Thon.
Casey Thon.
You don't get the spelling, so spell it however you want. You
I spelled it with a K for some reason.
That's fine. It could be.
It could be.
I'm not going to tell you, but it could be.
I don't think I've ever actually met a Casey with a K.
Neither. I've definitely seen it written with a K, but I don't think I've ever met one either. You're right.
All right.
Okay, yeah, and you do get a vague feeling. You can feel you kind of have more idea of things, but you won't. You feel like you won't really know until it comes to time to use them.
Right.
You do definitely. The weapon feels familiar in your hands. Yeah, and you turn around and actually, as soon as you grab it, you see the other pillars kind of retract into the ground and they go down. And the weapons go down with them. And once they reach like a foot under, you see it kind of slides closed over them. The pillar that you grabbed this one from remains up, and you see kind of a what I call this, kind of like a vaguely crystal ball shaped, just kind of ball of light. And you can see into it almost. It's not quite spherical. It's more kind of like a stereotypical, not a star shape, but like kind of like the 4-pointed thing.
Right.
It's kind of like flickering like that in that shape. And as it flickers larger and smaller, when it gets larger, you can kind of see into it. And you see you can't make out a lot. There's a lot of smoke, a lot of ash. It looks almost like a war zone. It's very, very dark. And yeah, Vashim is still behind you. And he appears to just be kind of awaiting a moment. Would you do anything? If not, he's going to probably do something. But you could do something.
How far is it? Just like right in front of me?
Yeah.
No, I think I'd just be looking at it.
Okay. So you're just looking at it, and yeah. After a moment, let me roll something for Vashim. Oh yes. Actually, no, he didn't roll high enough for that. But he is going to say something anyway. He says, so I see you've chosen your memories, your tool to inhabit. Very good, Newman. Very good, Captain. Oh, hello.
Hi, Gloria.
Hi.
We love you too.
Yeah, it's appreciated for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so Vashim basically says, yes, it's your first time. I suppose I should give you more or less your objective, your mission summary, your whatever you say.
Yes.
He does look like he's struggling. Like you can tell that his like common isn't his first language. Like obviously he's fluent, but he's missing some words. Yeah. He basically says, in order to actually begin your mission, you will reach out and touch the I'll call it a vision for now. The vision, and you will be transported to more or less the location of its origin. For this mission, it's rather a dangerous one. I do apologize for sending you out on such short notice to such a dangerous place, but quite simply, we're running out of time. You will be transported to the third moon of a wild space planet, fairly far out, closest to the GM checking their map really quick, closest to the supergiant cluster off the z-axis of your current system.
Right.
A planet by the name of Kachanya has been not currently, will be under attack by Kotholian preacher forces, and quite simply, they're supposed to win the battle, but as things are going, it doesn't look like they're going to. Something's been altered, something's been changed, and we don't know what. Your mission is to go there and assure the success of Kachanyan forces against this invader.
Right.
We do also have a slight, I'll call it a minor, optional objective, if you will. We'd appreciate if you accomplished it, but overall it should have no wide-reaching effects, although it would be appreciated. You will find a soldier of sorts. Their name will be revealed to you as you progress in your mission. They must be protected at whatever cost you deem appropriate. Their safety is important. Yes, I know. and yeah, he basically he hands you a small leather-bound book. It seems to have the sigil of the mark of the mediators on the back of it.
All right. Well, protect the soldier, win the war. I appreciate all your help.
You forgot his name. I'm not going to tell you. You have
Mashim.
Okay, there you go.
Mashim, I hope to see you again. It was wonderful meeting you, apparently old friend. And then I will turn and reach out.
Safe travels, Captain. Okay, give me a will roll.
Yes.
Followed by an HT roll.
Will. That's 11, so success by 1. And then HT, which is 10. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a fail by 1.
Fail by 1. So the will was a success. The HT was a failure.
Yes.
Okay. So you touch the thing and you feel it feels very hot to the touch, and after a moment your vision whites out. Well, not whites out actually so much as this thing grows brighter and brighter, and it kind of blinds you for just a moment. And as you come back to, you're briefly deafened as you come to in this kind of war zone. Your eyes are adjusting to the dark and the soot. You can feel you're covered in ash and gunpowder, and it smells like a war zone. But yeah, as cannon fire rings out around you, you're briefly deafened. You hold your hands to your ears, and you cannot hear for a moment. Your ears are ringing, everything's shaking around you. You are most definitely in a war zone. You can see this is definitely a smaller moon. It has a trace atmosphere, but it doesn't have a complete atmosphere. You're currently in what seems like a modification of a modification of a pretty standard not Arexis. A pretty standard sorry, checking my governmental systems. A pretty standard Draxus battle suit. Not powered, but just pretty heavily armored.
Right.
And pretty it's vacuum sealed, and it has about a 3-day air supply. Right. You can see above you orbiting the planet, you can see one very large ship, which you've actually seen before. Oh, you have a photograph from memory. I do. I don't have to make you roll. I've seen it. You recognize this as the ship of the this would be the flagship of Korthol's Harbinger. Thank you. Yeah, you knew. Okay. Yeah, you can also see three other ships of varying models. Not nearly, they're about half the size, if not smaller, than the large ship. But they appear to be firing on the larger vessel, as well as occasional fire to the surface of the moon. The larger ship, the flagship, seems to be sending down pretty regularly what looks like not quite escape pods, but kind of transport shuttles, vessels.
Right.
And you see as they land and open up, there are just more and more Kortholian preachers filing out. Right. You see as you look around the battlefield, there are also many soldiers dressed in a give me like your roll, actually.
I'm pretty smart. That's not No, it's still a failure by. Wait, hold on. That's 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that's a
12
flat success.
Flat success. Okay. So you definitely recognize it as a uniform, as a kind of military. Yeah, definitely military uniform.
Right.
It has a emblem. It has a kind of flag. It has all the like ranks and things on it, but you don't recognize the military specifically. You can see in writing underneath one of the on a nearby soldier, kind of not wounded, definitely dead. On the ground, you can see on their uniform there is a word written underneath the planetary flag, and it definitely says Kachanya, which is not a world you're familiar with, but this is what Vashim told you to expect, more or less. But yes, you see cannon fire ringing out around you. There are several vehicles, and you appear to just be in the middle of a large field, kind of in a trench.
Great. Trench? Now I'm thinking about World War One. Trench combat. Fun fact: trench combat's bad. Don't do it. No one wins.
I wasn't planning to. Just gonna go build a trench in my backyard for fun.
Do it.
Have a little gunfight.
You just end up with a bunch of no man's lands, and then everyone's just. Anyways, that's your history hour for today. Yeah. So does this appear to be like one side of the field is more the preachers and one side is more the
it seems like it's all around.
Scattered.
It seems like each side is just sending down.
Okay, so they're not really like entrenched anywhere.
Not really. These trenches are definitely being used, but it doesn't look like specifically. It looks like if a side is taking a trench, they just kill everyone in it and take it over. It doesn't look like they own one side.
All right.
It looks like the battlefield's just all over the place.
And is there anyone other than the dead guy
in this trench?
Me?
There certainly could be. Oh no! Oh god! Wow! That rolled far. I'm just gonna roll a different die.
That's probably best.
Okay. Not in this trench. There are a few more bodies. There's one. Actually, there's one or two people who are injured but alive, but they don't look like they're conscious. You can see they're breathing, but.
Well, that's not very helpful. Hope they don't die. Can I find the nearest Kachanian trench?
Yeah.
And then head that way, trying my best to keep low and not get shot.
Yeah, you can definitely attempt to do so. It looks like this trench was owned by them, but I mean the preachers haven't currently taken it over, but there's nobody really active in this one.
Right.
Let me roll a little. Actually, let me see. Yeah, I'll roll a little perception. Ooh, okay. You don't see one from where you are currently.
All right.
You see a few trenches, but you can't find anything to discern one of them specifically as Kachanyan.
Right. Then do I just see any just troops out of a trench?
Troops out of a trench?
That's the one.
That was some words you said.
That's what I was intending.
Yeah. Let me think. Let me make another roll for that.
Okay.
Every now and then you see bursts of gunfire, but it's difficult to make out. It's kind of difficult to make out who's shooting from the bursts of the muzzle flashes from the. There's a mix of physical ammunition as well as energy fire.
Oh, that's useful. How am I ever going to find the person I'm looking for? I don't even know their name. That's all right. Then I think I'll just. This is a very chaotic battlefield.
Those appear to be.
See, when there's not sides, I can't just be like, I run to the side, because...
Yeah, I understand.
I know where nothing is. So, you said... Are the dropships, coming down in the same area, or are they also just, kind of scattering?
It looks like the dropships are coming down in relatively the same spaces, but every time they come down, they're in the same place, but they do seem spread about, if that makes sense.
Right. All right. Well, I think. How far away is the closest trench to me?
I'd say about 40 feet.
All right. I'll just dash towards that one.
Okay. How would you like to do that? Would you like to try to do anything, or just a straight up run?
Well, okay. So do I have the crossbow thing or the?
Yeah, you do.
Thing?
It seems to be holstered at your side, kind of.
All right. I would like to.
And you appear to have 18 bolts. We'll call them bolts for now.
Okay.
You do appear to have several other pouches around your person, but you can check them now or later.
I'll check them later.
Okay.
I will draw that, but not hold it up. Just have
Okay.
it at my side.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then just kind of dash, crouching and moving quickly, but
Okay.
making myself a small target.
I'll make a little hidden roll. Okay. You get about 10 feet away, and you can see that you're taking fire. You hear some gunshots fall around your feet. I'm trying to speak this coherently. Yeah, you feel a volley of gunfire fall around your feet. You look up and you can see past the trench you're diving forward. Like one trench further, there is a group of it looks like preachers peeking out of the trench past the one you're going to, and it looks like they're about to shoot again. You can make a dodge roll or whatever you'd like to do to get into the trench from there.
Make a dodge.
A little closer than 10 feet, sorry, but yeah,
Right.
You can dodge into it is what I'm saying.
I would like to do that.
If you succeed. Oh, geez.
Nope. That was bad.
What
That's
is
a
that?
13.
13. That's a bit too high even for special things. So you kind of you stumble for. Well, let me think. With a dodge and a drop, would that be enough? No, not quite.
Yeah.
So you kind of it catches you off guard, and you kind of trip over a mound of dirt as you go to dive into the thing. They are going to hit you several volleys of one round of physical ammunition and 2 rounds of laser ammunition. Let's see if any of them get through. You don't know the DR of the armor you're currently wearing, but it's pretty high. Let's see. Okay. The physical ammunition has not gotten through. You feel some physical ammunition strike you in one of the shoulders. It just kind of bounces off. It's a pretty heavy impact. Like it's probably going to leave a bruise, but you didn't take any real injury.
What are you gonna do?
It just kind of hurt a little bit, stung.
Right.
Okay. The laser ammunition, one of them hits you in the leg, and you are going to take 1. Let's see what gets through. Let me calculate this. Wow, that's very little. Yeah, one burning damage.
Right.
1 burning tight beam burning. So you taken 1, and
-4.
the other one. Oh, you did start. Sorry, when you started this mission, you would be at 4 HP.
Okay, so
3.
now I'm at 3. Okay. That's better.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. That's my mistake.
That's all right.
You did heal a little bit before. And the other. Oh, never mind. The third guy does miss entirely.
Oh, incredible.
So you feel you see the third round of laser fire just kind of fall at your feet.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah. So it is now your action. It's not quite combat time, but you understand.
Right. I will just dive for the trench.
Okay. You dive into the trench, and as you hit the ground inside, you do see there are at least 4 or 5 Kachanyan soldiers in here, and it looks like at least 3 of them are active. They're currently conscious. That's good. Conscience. They're currently conscious.
They are conscious.
They're your conscience.
Oh no!
Okay. They're gonna die. No. Okay.
Please don't. Hello there. I'm here to help you.
Oh, okay, just a second. I didn't expect you to say it like that. Just a second. I'm gonna make reaction rules for these 4 guys. Just a second. Okay, that's not bad. That's good. Okay. All right, so 3 of them seem pretty favorable to this. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And the 4th guy doesn't say anything, but you can tell he doesn't seem like he trusts you. He doesn't say anything, but he just kind of gives you a weird look.
I did just appear out of nowhere on the middle of a battlefield.
Yeah. You can tell you're not. Let me see. Yeah. So one of the soldiers, you can tell from his uniform that he's the highest ranking one here. He's still not that high ranking, but higher than the others. And he basically says, "Oh, I didn't know we were enlisting mercenary help now, but I guess anything we can take is appreciated." Were you sent from the front lines, or? Sorry, that's kind of mean from me.
I just dropped in here. New contract straight off the old block. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's like he looks like the guy who was already suspicious of you looks really suspicious, and the other guys are just like, yeah, whatever.
Look, I'm not a soldier.
They're like, it's a war zone. We understand. They don't say that, but like that's the look. Right. That's the feel you're getting. He says, so the guy kind of looks you up and down. He says, all right. You seem better. He almost is better equipped. Then he kind of looks at the weapon you're holding. He doesn't say anything, but he squints at it and he says, better armored than the rest of us.
Don't worry, I'm a specialist.
Yeah, I assume. Yeah, I assume the princess knows what she's doing. Okay.
I was not informed of the princess.
Okay. Yeah. He basically says, okay.
Is the princess also a soldier? Is she the one I must protect?
Okay, so he basically says, all right. Well, things aren't going great. They've sent in some specialists of their own. I think that's why you're here. Probably they want you to take care of the other specialists.
Probably.
We can give you covering fire. We need you to get. Actually, he kind of at this point he pulls up. He pulls up his wrist kind of, and he has like he's a survival watch, and it has a small holographic display on it, and he kind of taps on it, and you can see a small holographic map of the moon shows up, and you can see your current location, and you can see probably not terribly far away, but kind of almost directly under where the flagship is stationed. You see on the map there is what kind of looks like a sort of battlement, kind of a base that's been set up, and you can see from what's displayed the sigils on his the symbols on his map that it is a Cortholian preacher base.
Right.
And he basically says they recently sent in we can handle the regular preachers pretty much no problem. I mean, it's a trade for a trade. We're a little more skilled. They got a little better weapons, but we're holding them off.
Right.
But they sent in some specialists, and I don't think our troops are going to be enough to handle it. We sent in a few of our front line, but they haven't come back yet. Here, I'll send you some of the files. You got a compad on you somewhere?
Do I?
Oh, you want to search your pockets?
Yeah, I'll search
roll 1d6 just to see.
2.
That's the exact pocket that it's in. Okay. I numbered your pockets for this reason.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, you open your pocket up and you have a small compad.
All right.
Yeah, it's it looks like it's kind of armored, but like that's not terribly unusual.
Right.
Yeah, so you kind of pull it out and he kind of holds his to yours, and you get a file transfer on there. And you can see you see several files, you see 3 soldiers pass by. Do you care about who they are, or do you just want to get to the file and the specialists?
I do actually care who they are.
Okay.
I'm a people person.
Okay. So you get 3 names. You see one soldier. His name is Mark Phoenix, and he looks like he's a pretty young guy, maybe almost 20. And he's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and he's pretty short. You see a second soldier. Sorry, my name list just closed itself. Okay, second soldier, Jackson Ornix. And he is a bit of a taller guy. He looks older, maybe in his 40s. And he definitely looks like he's kind of like a heavy specialist kind of guy. He's got like a grenade launcher on him. And he's a pretty buff dude. He's a pretty big guy. He looks like he might be almost 7 feet, and he's pretty ripped. And you see a third figure. And when you see this third figure, give me a will roll.
A will roll. I do a lot of those.
You do.
I should have put more into will.
It's not necessarily bad if you fail them.
No. 5,
Okay.
6, 7, 8. So success by 9, 10, 11, 12, 4.
Okay. Okay, so as you spot this third soldier, you hear Vashim's voice more or less again. You hear the same thing he said before. You hear him say kind of like their I don't remember his exact wording, but their protection would be preferable. And you hear an extra thing now. You hear under all reasonable circumstances, this person should not become aware of your presence.
Well,
he said reasonable circumstances. He didn't say. I mean, it basically sounded like a try not to let them know you're there, or at least try not to be
obvious.
Yeah,
that you're protecting them.
Yeah, and this soldier. Let's see. Let me look at their file real quick. This soldier seems to be a relatively new recruit. They've been here a little while, but this is one of their first major battles.
Right.
And this is an individual under the name of Jade Armitage.
Jade Armitage.
Okay.
Is this someone that? Yeah. All right. I figured when someone was very confused and upset.
Okay.
All right. Jade Armitage. And are they one of the ones in this trench, or just
no? It looks like these are. As you read the files, it looks like these are 3 that were sent out to the encampment.
Those are the ones. Okay.
Yeah, and as you get the rest of the files, which are at the you actually only get one other for the specialist that's been sent in. You see a very large. Give me an IQ actually, just to see if you've ever heard of this person.
Stop. Oh, awesome. So that's a flat success.
Flat success. That's definitely enough. Okay. Yes. So you have heard of this person. You see across the screen a absolutely massive man, definitely human, but he's almost 8 feet tall, just a Goliath of a guy, absolutely, completely muscular. You can see he has a completely cybernetic right arm, but it doesn't look like what you're familiar with as a cybernetic arm. It kind of just seems like a large block of metal. You'd recognize the metal as crimson. And it just kind of seems, it doesn't seem articulate. It just seems like this large pillar, almost like a cannon.
Right.
And you would recognize this figure as the Warhammer of Korthol.
Oh, no. That's bad.
You don't know exactly what he does or who he is, but you have heard of him. Absolutely. He's a frontline soldier, basically.
Yeah, I have a feeling he hits you really hard with his arm.
It's possible. You don't know.
His name is Warhammer, and generally, when you're named after a weapon, you probably kill people.
Not the worst assumption.
Not the worst. I'm gonna die. All right.
You are very armored.
Sure am. With oh no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gecko, I appreciate the solidarity.
One other thing. Sorry, actually, as he transfers all this data, you see there's a date in the top right of your compad. This does appear to be about 8 years past the current date from where you're from, which is not normal once again, but it's not the weirdest thing you've encountered.
Sure ain't.
I mean, you did hear the things Vashim said earlier, but you might be starting to make sense of them in character.
I'm beginning to understand that time is more relative than I would like it.
Oh, you got it all sanded up. You dropped your pen in the sand.
I did. That's wow.
I wasn't kidding.
That is unfortunate.
It's white sand.
Very
it's
fine.
my little Zen garden.
It's quite fine. All right. About this question. Oh yeah. So Vashim handed me a book.
Yes.
Do I have that on me?
Would you like to check your pouches?
I would.
Would you like to check specific one or just all of them?
I'll check the first one.
Okay. You open up the first one and you do find it there.
Yeah.
It appears to be that same little leather-bound book that you were handed by another figure quite a little while ago, about 2 sessions ago.
Yes. Can I flip it open and kind of scan through the pages, see if anything?
Yeah, you can certainly.
Catch
Let me roll a little roll for you. Okay, yeah. You flip it open, and you see on the second page, you see what looks like a kind of crudely scrawled. Thank you.
Yeah.
A crudely. I don't know why I said thank you. You didn't tell me. A crudely scrawled map almost. You can recognize writing that kind of says like you are here and like a destination kind of.
Mm.
It looks. It's not greatly drawn, but it has like a path laid out and some key landmarks kind of.
Right.
You look at the handwriting and it's pretty messy. This is not your handwriting, but it seems to have a path laid out, and there are various places that say like safe or like wait or like danger, those type of things. And it looks like there's about 4 different landmarks before it gets to the encampment.
All right.
From where you are currently. It does appear to be starting where you are currently.
Oh wow. It's almost like it was pre-planned.
Not sure if that was a riff at me or at the characters.
Bit of both.
Okay.
All right. So what's the nearest landmark on the map to me?
The nearest landmark on the map is a large, what looks like the equivalent of a railway cannon. You know what that is as a player. Yeah. It's not quite a railway cannon because obviously there isn't a railway on this random moon, but it's like it looks like it was dropped here from orbit. It's pretty big. You can definitely see it. That was one of the things that fired when you first got here that deafened you.
Can I tell who's controlling it?
Let's see if you can see from here. Yeah, it does look like you can see the flag that you don't recognize, but you've now seen a few times on the Kachanyan soldiers, and it looks like it's aimed at the flagship up above.
Right. Perfect. That's exactly where it should be aimed. All right. I'm gonna turn to the guys in the trench and say, all right, I'm going to head towards the cannon over there. I need you to give me some cover fire so I don't get killed. Go on 5.
You got it, Merc.
All right. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll dash.
Give me an HT roll and just for endurance running, and I will make a little roll to see how well they cover fire you. Wow, quite good.
Yeah,
that's a 4. Yeah, you're running good. You're sprinting, yeah. Okay. And then we roll. That's 1 of them. That's 2. That's 3. Okay, he didn't do well. And the last one,
Come on, guys.
okay, awesome. Yeah, so you kind of wait a second, and then as soon as they duck up over, you jump over the trench and you start dashing towards the thing. You see as soon as you do that, several of the preachers from the other trench also raise their heads up and they start to take aim. And right as they do, you see 3 of the soldiers kind of just start taking heavy fire. And they don't hit them per se. One of them takes a pretty substantial hit and seems to go down. Right. But the other ones definitely wheel their weapons around and start aiming at them instead, because you're not currently shooting at them. Sure. You're just running. And you do see the fourth guy. The fourth guy shoots a little bit past you. And you don't see where the shot lands.
Interesting.
It looks like he fired a little different, if I can speak, a little bit different of a round. It looked almost like a grenade launcher, but it went a ways past you. You didn't see where it landed.
Right. Well, hopefully that doesn't explode in my face.
Hopefully.
But yeah, I'll just keep running towards. I would like to look out for like
landmines. Yeah, that is what you were gonna say. Okay,
because those happen sometimes in war.
Give me a traps roll.
Okay,
I know what it is.
I believe you.
Okay,
I'm assuming you do.
That's a quite good roll, actually.
It's
an 8.
An 8.
Okay, yeah. So you managed to right as you're thinking about that, you kind of feel almost like deja vu. Just kind of like you get a quick flash to like this area in a jungle, and you see these kind of mines laid out about things, and they're in a very specific kind of pattern. And as that kind of fades away, you see ahead of you, kind of these mounds of dirt that just look a little bit out of the usual in the same pattern as before, and you're able to basically easily avoid them, and you don't set off any traps or anything like that, any mines. You make it about halfway to this railway cannon, and you do hear a very loud kind of, oh wait, no, do you hear it? How will this travel? I need to make a perception roll, because sound doesn't travel that well in trace atmosphere. No. It travels decently, not great. No, you don't hear it, but you do see kind of in your peripheral vision, kind of like a large flash overhead. Are you interested? Or are you just gonna keep running?
I would like to glance over my shoulder.
Okay. You glance over your shoulder, and you can see one of the 3 ships that had the Kachanian symbol on it has taken a pretty heavy hit to their engine. It looks like they're coming down orbital. Or they're coming down. They're gonna hit atmosphere pretty soon.
Yikes.
You can see it looks like the flagship has sustained some damage, but nothing that heavy.
Significant.
Not significantly.
All right.
There's 2 more ships in orbit, and you do see what looks like a pretty large warp field opening up somewhere nearby, like up in the sky. Right. You can't. It looks like it just opened, so you can't make out how big it's going to be or what's going to come out. But there's something else arriving. You don't know for what side.
All right. I'll keep moving then.
Okay, so you keep moving. Give me. No, actually, that's my roll. Sorry.
All right. No good.
Okay. Yeah, as you're just about there, and you see as you get up to it, there is one pretty large Cortholian preacher. He's definitely still human, but you see this guy has as you get up to the thing, he's almost right in front of it. Right. Whoa, air in my stomach. Don't like that. And as you get up to the cannon, he wheels around, and you can see that he's wielding a very large kind of not. What's the word I'm looking for? Malign? Is that a word? I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. It starts with an M.
Mallet?
It's not mallet. Sorry, never mind. It's nasty. I'm going to say nasty. A very nasty, crude-looking kind of machete almost. It looks like it's made partially of metal, partially of that same kind of crystalline. Not the same one that was rare from before, but a kind of crystalline structure. Yeah. And you do see also as he wheels around that his eyes are both replaced by those crystals. Like you remember hearing about, they ritually would do that sometimes as penance to their god. And he is definitely, you don't know if he spotted you, but he's moving towards you.
Right. What sin did you commit?
I will
seeing that 18 shots. Do I have any other weapons on me that
there might be one in a pouch, but you haven't looked. It will take a few seconds to search through the pouches. And he is coming towards you. I'm not saying you can't, I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah. All right, I will
Is that an important phone call?
No.
Okay.
Not right now. It's something I have to deal with later.
Okay, just make sure it wasn't like your mother or something.
No.
All right.
I will level the sling thing at him. A sling thing.
All right.
And
Take out a bolt and drop back. Or
yeah, I'll do that.
okay. Would you like to actually fire it at him or?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me look at the negative
4
for arm/leg. That's not that bad.
Yeah. So you can either aim, you can do random location, or you can just hit torso. Up to you.
I would like to aim for his leg.
Okay. Would you like to take an aim maneuver, or just that's where you want to hit for?
I'll take an aim maneuver.
Okay. You'll be able to do that before he gets to you. He'll get to you in probably about 2 turns. So
All right.
if you don't destroy him or whatever.
Right.
All right. So you're aiming at his specific leg or just leg?
Just one of them.
Okay. Let me just roll a right leg.
Sure.
Okay. Roll to hit.
All right.
Once again, I know your little thing. You may learn what it is in time.
Wow, that wasn't great.
Not fantastic.
14.
What is that? Let me think. That is actually enough, but let's see if he can. This isn't quite as fast as a bullet, so he has the potential to dodge, but doesn't mean he will. Let's see. Okay. It looks like he thought it was going to come a lot slower than it was, and he actually almost looks like he tried to parry it, which he had no capability of doing. Almost, you see this big machete kind of come swinging down, and it's not even close. The thing has already run its course well before his swing hits the bottom of the thing. You see this bolt gouge into his leg, and I rolled damage, by the way, in case you're wondering. Sorry, I realized just because I realized I didn't have you roll damage, you might be like, what? No,
it does no damage.
I rolled it. Don't
It's
worry.
just
Sorry.
pretty.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Goes into his leg, and let me see. Oh, okay. Okay. You do see it come out the other side.
Oh, wow.
But you do see. Well, actually, maybe. This is something you'd know if you saw. So give me a perception roll for yourself.
I will do that. All right. That's nothing. That's on carpet. All right. That's 3, 9, 10.
That's by 2.
So, yeah.
Okay. So you do see as it comes out the other side, it appears to be a much more blank rod. It doesn't have the tip on it anymore. Only the rod seems to have come out the other side. Whatever that means to you.
Interesting.
And he does fall to one leg. He's kind of still limping towards you, but he's kneeling on one leg.
That's good. And then I'm going to not fire again. I'm going to try and take a course around him.
Okay. Give me a. How wide of a berth are you giving him? Do you want to get up to the cannon, or you just want to get past him into the next point?
I want to get up to the cannon.
Okay, then give me a DX roll to get around without coming into his reach.
All right.
You're just kind of evading him.
Ooh,
Whoa! You can't fail with that.
I can't, but I can still roll a 5.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So yeah, that's 6, 7.
7. That's pretty good. Okay, yeah. So you're able to just kind of, you take a look at, you kind of juke him out. You kind of start going one way and you go the other way, and he kind of swings in one direction, and he kind of falls over because that was the side his bad leg was on, and he just you kind of run around the other way, and you get past him more or less.
All right.
After a second, you get past him. After a second, you get past him. You hear a very small kind of like a pump from behind you.
Can I look back?
Yeah, you can. You look back and you can see he's kind of not rocking, but he's kind of holding kind of a stump where his leg was there.
Oh, it's explosive.
It appears to be.
That's cool. I like that. Quite useful, in fact. All right. Cool. Well, I'll keep going towards the cannon then.
Okay. You keep going towards the cannon. Yeah, after about another minute, you get up to the side of it. It's massive. This thing's probably like, let me look at my little map. Like 50 feet tall. Maybe that's not massive, but it's big. It's pretty big. And you can see there's like ladders up the side of it, and you can see there's currently a Kachanian soldier you can recognize from the uniform at the control board.
That is my mother.
Hmm?
That is my mother.
Oh, okay. Shall we pause a moment?
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Just a second. Step out. All right, I will entertain them while you do this.
Hello?
Hello, everyone. It's just me while he gets a little call from his mother. How's everyone doing? I don't know how many people are even listening because I only have the chat open. It may be no one. Maybe I may be all alone in this void. We're having a fun little time. This session's going to end a little bit of a different place than I thought because it's taking a little longer to get through than I realized, but that's fine. It just leaves me with more prepared material for next time. This session is definitely going better than last time. Last time was pretty messy. I think I might have during Vashim's speech, I might have said the inheritors and the bequeathed wrong. So just if I did, that's entirely on me. That's not an in-universe thing. The inheritors are Joe's side, the side with Corthol and the preachers, whereas the bequeathed are the Sakamoras. If I said that backwards before, I apologize. I'll just clear that up now while I have time to. Yeah, I think that's about it. What else can I talk about while the boy is away? Hopefully he will come back. Maybe his mother spirited him away. Yeah, he is. He is a traveler. If you ever saw him, you would know. Yeah, he is. Which means nothing to Ian, which is completely fine. It means nothing to anybody else right now either, but yes. And that is how you spell Vashim. You were right. Vashim is quite old and has a few mysterious qualities, which Newman may discover later on. He probably will. Vashim is a recurring character unless Newman manages to just die right here, which would be rather difficult. I always allow for the possibility, but it's not supposed to happen.
All right, I'm back.
You good?
I'm fine.
Was she just like, where are you?
No, she's just it's a thing with a job.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
The job or the volunteer thing?
The job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not the children with water balloons.
It's not the children with water balloons. Actually a paid position. I just need to pick up an application.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah. So you can see there is a Kachanyan soldier manning the thing, probably about 20 feet up, and you can see it looks like they're currently, the gun isn't firing, so it looks like they're fending off two Cortholian preachers, smaller guys, but they're not hurting him. They're just kind of like keeping him. He's having to stay in cover to avoid being shot as they shoot around the doorway.
Right.
You can progress. You can help him. The choice is yours.
I would like to go up and try and help.
Okay. You could actually fire from here if you'd like, or you can go up and help.
I don't want to fire. I want to go up and try and like.
You want to go up. You want to go up and fire. Okay.
I don't know if I want to fire yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I only have 17 shots.
That's true.
I'm trying to keep those for, I don't know, maybe the guy named Warhammer.
That's true.
So,
yeah, I would like to go up there. And is there like a platform outside of a door?
Yeah, there's a platform, kind of like a, you know, there's like those heavy digging machine platforms look like. It's kind of like that. Yeah, and there's a ladder that goes up about 20 feet and it leads to the platform. And then he has that sealed room.
So I would like to get up there and try and help.
Okay. You get up there. Are you trying to get up there sneakily so they don't notice you while you're coming up, or what are you trying to do? Or are you just getting up there?
I just like
fast
to
as
get
possible?
up there because even if he starts trying to get me, then he's not. Then they have a chance.
Okay. Let me see if they spot you. Okay, that one doesn't. One of them does, though. Okay, so when you're about halfway up the ladder, one of them kind of seems to peer over, and he only has the other one had a rifle. This one only has a pistol, and he's just aiming straight down. And he's taking a few shots at you. Are you going to try to avoid these, or
I'll try.
You could try to. You can dodge at like a -1 to just kind of like swing to the side of the ladder.
Yeah, I'll attempt.
And you could dodge by dropping all the way back down, but that would impede your progress.
I could. That would be the opposite of what I was trying to do. Yeah, I'll try and dodge.
That's a bit.
Yeah,
much.
that's a fail by 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have some slight hidden bonuses, but that's not enough with the minus. Yeah. So he's gonna hit you in the. He can't hit you in a lot of places. You're climbing up. Let's see.
That's true. Shoulder would be preferred.
He's gonna hit you in the right shoulder. So right arm, basically. But
that's all right.
Let's see if he even deals enough to get through. No. Make a strength roll for me though.
Strength, right? Because I could. Yeah. That's a fail by 2.
That's not. Yeah, you're okay.
Okay.
You also have some slight. You have some things. But yeah. So as the shot hits you, it's not enough to get through your armor. You feel it hits heavy on your thing. It's a pretty light powered blaster, but it's a blaster nonetheless. It hits on you, and you kind of lose your grip with your right arm where he hit you. But you manage to stay on, and you get your grip back on, and you can do whatever you want from here. You're about halfway up. He's about 10 feet away from you.
I would like to get up to him.
Okay. So you're just climbing?
Well, when I get to him, I would like to try and grab him and pull him off the platform.
Okay. Let me think. 5. I think you can get up to him in one turn.
All right.
Give me a. Think of what it would be to climb faster, Dex or Strength. I'm gonna say Dex.
Yeah, that would make sense. That's a fail by 1.
Fail by 1.
Yeah,
Okay, so you get up to him, but you can't act in the same turn.
that's all right.
Okay, so he's gonna try to. Actually, would you like to climb all the way up or just to the top of the ladder? Like, do you want to be standing on the platform, or do you just want to be here at the top of the ladder?
If I can't act, I think I want to actually get onto the platform.
Okay, so you get onto the platform, and he now is going to. Seeing that his gun didn't do anything, it also wasn't a particularly good shot, but he doesn't. They're not that smart. Yeah, so he draws out. You see one of those ceremonial daggers, which you yourself had for a little while.
I did have.
He pulls out one of those, and that looks like it took his whole turn. It is you again.
All right. I would like to
Just
attempt-
push him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like grab and like pull him off because.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that would be what kind of skill do you want to use for that? You I'm just saying, do you want to use a striking skill or a grappling skill?
Would a striking skill default to brawling?
Yeah. Most of them. Yeah.
Then-
I was gonna say, especially if you just want to shove him, that'd be brawling.
yeah, then I'll do that because I actually have brawling.
Okay, so that'll give you. Yeah. Okay.
So it'll be a little easier.
Roll that beautiful footage for me then.
That's not bad. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let's see if he dodges. That's. I would say roll your crit, but you're not attacking for damage. He did crit fail that dodge. But you're not attacking for damage. So
Yeah.
give me a strength roll.
I can do that. All right, that's a 4. And that's an 8. No, so that's not great. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, by
13.
3. Fail by 3.
By 3.
Okay, well he could still fail his roll worse.
He could.
And he does. Oh, that's an 18.
Man, he's not
Okay, yeah.
good.
So you hit him. You stumble just a little bit, like he was a little bit further away than you thought. You kind of trip forward and you just push into him, and he loses his balance entirely. He goes flying back over the railing. You hear like a quiet "Ah!" as he goes over, and you hear a small crash at the ground. Like it's only 20 feet. He's probably not dead, but he's out of your hair.
Right. That's what I was hoping to accomplish.
You can see there's the other guy. There is the Kachanian soldier. You can see through the glass. There's bulletproof glass around the thing. You can see he's hiding under the console and kind of peeking out and taking shots with this. He looks like he has a physical pistol, and he doesn't look like he has that many shots left. And you can see the other preacher just kind of standing in the doorway, just kind of. He's got like a kind of like a submachine gun kind of energy rifle.
All right. Then I'd like to get up behind.
Okay.
The.
Are you trying to do this stealthily or?
Yeah.
Okay, you can roll a little stealth for me.
I will do that. That's not great.
That is.
That's 11, 12, 13, 14.
Wait.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's not too bad. Let's see. Okay. You get all the way up behind him, and you can act first, but as soon as you take the step to get completely behind him, he appears to have noticed you. But you get to act first.
That's right. I would like to attempt to do a similar thing and like shove him, if not off, at least like towards the end of the platform.
Okay, this one will be a little bit harder. He is directly in front of the door into the thing. He's not at an edge. You could put him at an edge, but you would have to grapple him this time.
That's all right. Yeah, I'd like to push him towards an edge.
Okay.
Then I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, so you can either attempt a grappling skill you're not sure if you have, or you can give me a DX roll for that. Or you could try wrestling or judo or something that you're not certain if you'd be able to use. It's up to you.
I'll just give you a DX roll.
Okay.
Sure.
Quite good. Wow.
That's not bad. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So
That's right on.
Yeah.
That is enough. Let's see. If he... Oh, you're directly behind him, but he did notice you, so he'll get a chance.
yeah.
No, failure by 1. So yeah, you got him.
Right.
It is his turn now, though. So
That's okay.
He's going to try to hit you with... What's he going to try to do? Okay, he reaches onto his belt, and you see he pulls out what looks like a grenade.
Oh, great.
But it is your turn again now.
All right. Then I would like to try and this time actually push him over the railing.
Okay, give me let me think. That's a throw, so another DX roll.
All right. Roll good again. That's not great. That's a failure by 4.
Failure by 4. Okay. So yeah, you kind of go to throw him, and just at the almost right before the arc of your throw, he kind of slips out of your hands, and he stumbles towards the railing. He's at the railing now, but he's not over it.
All right. That's fine.
Okay. And he... Let's see. What does that entail? So he pulls the pin on this grenade, and you can tell from looking at it that this is an impact grenade. And as soon as he pulls the pin, he just squeezes it really hard.
Oh no!
And he did roll a 3.
No.
So let me just see what that crit does.
Don't do that.
I mean, you've taken care of him. Let's see.
I mean, yeah.
That's a 16. That's
this way I also get hurt.
16 is the blow does double damage.
Great.
That could be not ideal. I'll just double whatever it does. Okay. Okay. You're gonna take. Actually, no. You're standing. You threw him far enough away. You're not gonna take any damage. You are gonna take 2 yards of knockback, but that doesn't. You just hit the wall. That doesn't do anything. You do see this side of the platform, kind of just this side of the platform where on this because this little control room had 2 doors, one on each side.
Right.
So you kind of had to go around to get to the other one, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
This side of the platform, you can see where the ladder was and the metal kind of mesh platform. It falls off on this side. It falls away. And it kind of cracks the bulletproof glass on this side of the thing.
Oh.
You're kind of blasted back into the room and you just kind of fall flat on your back. And he's gone. The other guy's gone.
Well, I guess that takes care of that. Not in the most ideal way, but that's.
I mean, like your ears are ringing a little bit still, and you're a little bit. You're not concussed, but you're fuzzy. But you managed to avoid taking any actual damage.
That could have gone worse. All right. I would like to turn to the guy in here.
He's pointing his gun at you. He's like, I'm gonna say expectantly. He's not sure if you're on his side.
All right. I'll be like, all right. Yes, I'm here to help you. I thought that would be obvious with me attacking them, but that's all right.
He's been cowering in here. He didn't see that.
Right. Well, so yeah, I took care of your little invaders for now. Do you know how to operate this thing? I'm assuming that's why you're here.
I don't need to roll for that. I was about to. I was like, no, that's why he's here.
Does he? Is he just here for fun?
Oh yeah, certainly. We haven't been able to get off the last few volleys because we've been under fire.
All right, well now you can. So I've been on this ship before, right?
No, you haven't been on that ship before, but you've seen it, and you've seen it from the inside in a vision.
Right.
But you haven't been on it personally.
All right. So do you think I would know approximately where like the engine would be?
I'd say it's unlikely, but you've seen it a few times, so I'll let you roll your engineer -5 for being a starship, +1 because you've seen it a few times, so that's a 9.
All right.
Not impossible, but it's not likely.
I'll try it, at least.
It's not more likely, but you could know.
Right.
Perhaps.
Worst case scenario, I just don't know.
You can reroll that one. It landed on its side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 6s. Yeah.
All right. Well, I was going to see if I can tell him exactly where to aim, but...
You don't really know.
It's
It's a big ship. It could be wherever.
That's all right. Actually, not knowing that, I will tell him to aim for where the dropships are coming out.
That's fine. Okay, so you tell him that. Can you give me a tactics roll?
Yes. That's not bad. That's 6, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind for future reference. Let me note that down. All right, and he just kind of agrees, and he gets on the console, and you see he starts punching things in. You gonna remain here, or are you just kind of heading to your next location?
I'd like to head towards my next location.
Okay, so you head to your next location on the map. Appears to be what looks like a small medical camp. You know how they have those set up in war zones. I don't know what to call it. I should have looked at the actual name for that, but it's a small medical camp.
Right.
And that one you can see from up here. It's not terribly far away.
All right. From this vantage point, can I see like? In between me and the camp, is there any Cortholian encampments?
Encampments,
or like
in trenches or anything?
Yeah.
Let's see. No, you don't see any.
All right. Well,
you see people like strewn around to the sides, but in your direct path, it doesn't look like it.
That's better than not that. All right, then I'll start heading towards that down and across the.
Okay.
No man's-
Yeah. So you just start running towards that.
Yes.
As you're about 3/4 of the way there, it looks like some of them have spotted you and they're taking fire at you. They might not hit. You are running and you're not terribly close to them.
True.
He misses.
Good.
He misses. Wow, they cannot hit anything. He misses.
Glad for
So
that.
you see a bunch of laser fire just kind of streak past you. It's close to you, but not that close.
Right.
Okay, yeah, no. The last one hits you, but he just like chucked a rock, so that didn't do anything.
I'm gonna get you.
That didn't do anything. His weapon was out of ammo. Yeah, so you make it there without any real problems, unless you want to stop to take care of those guys.
Nah,
but there's no real reason to.
I don't need to deal with them. That's not my job here.
Okay, so you make it to this kind of medical encampment. Yeah, and you see there are a bunch of medics waiting kind of outside, and they ask you if you need medical attention.
Me? No, I think I'm all right for now. How would you say we're doing on winning or losing?
You're just asking like this medic that you see.
Yeah,
Okay.
I should hope they know relatively well.
Okay. Okay. They say, well, we're taking a lot of casualties, but so are they. I think overall this battle is going to come down to how we fare against the flagship. I don't think it's going to come down to us troops here on the ground.
All right. Well, hopefully we can do something about that. Can I see the warp that was opening?
Yeah, you can take another look at that.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
I would.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so you can see the front end of a ship now. It looks like it might be about 1/4 of the way out of the warp. You can recognize straight away that it's not a Cortholian ship. So this is, if it's not Kachanian, it's at least somebody else who's coming to assumably help.
Hopefully.
That's all you can make out from here. It's still it's still in orbit.
Well,
and it's still coming out of warp.
all right. Well, that's better than. Yeah. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. Then I will, kind of move through this camp. I don't know if I really need anything from this.
If you don't, you can just pass on by.
I can't think of anything, so I'll just continue on my way.
So you pass through this camp, and the next place you're going to stop is, let me look at my little map. So that's 2 of the 4, what I call them, landmarks. Yeah, I called them landmarks. Yeah. So the next one is a minefield. So you can see where it's marked on your map, and you can see there's just this large empty patch of ground out in the distance. It doesn't have any trenches or anything on it. It just kind of looks pretty unassuming. You can either try to make your way around, or it looks like there's a path kind of scrawled into your map, but it's a little hard to make out. Or you can try like last time to roll your traps go.
Well, last time I was successful. There's no guarantee I'll actually do anything right. All right. Yeah, I would. So the path, how clear is it on the map?
On your map, it looks like it's pretty close. It looks like the map is drawn, and it's like if you step off of the path just a little bit, it looks like you're going to be in trouble. And the path is drawn a little bit unclearly. It's a little hard to read. Like you could probably, but if you read it one misstep could be it.
Yikes. Okay. How much do I trust mysterious people I don't know?
That's up to you.
All right. They haven't steered me wrong yet. Which is also how people join cults. But
I guess you can drink the Kool-Aid.
not yet.
I can't remember what that is. Didn't they die? Wasn't the Kool-Aid poisoned?
Yeah.
Okay.
They drank the Kool-Aid and died. So everyone was scared of grape Kool-Aid for no reason for a while.
I mean, grape's just not a good flavor
It's
anyway.
not, but
I shouldn't say that. We're gonna get feedback for that.
It's not particularly poisonous. It's just not
To
tasty.
dogs?
Well, yeah, but we're not dogs.
Yet. Anyway, that was terrible. Why did I say
I
that?
don't like that.
Sorry, we can progress.
Is a threat. Okay. Yeah, I'll attempt. I'll do my best. I'll try to follow the path on the map.
Okay, give me a little cartography roll. Do you actually have cartography regularly?
No.
No. Okay, I wasn't sure because you had navigation.
No.
Okay.
I'm.
I know then. I know. Just if you actually have the skill, it'll add to it. But oh, that's not bad. That's pretty reasonable.
5, so that's 9.
That's definitely reasonable. Okay. Okay. You get to within what looks like the last 10 feet of the minefield, and the map from there is, you're not certain where it is, but you're only 10 feet away from the end, so it's up to you what to do from here.
All right.
So far, you've been safe, but you're still in the minefield, but it's almost out.
All right. 10 feet away. Just running is a very bad idea. I'm not going to do that. That was my first.
It is an idea.
That was my first idea.
You think you can jump 10 feet?
That was my second idea.
It's up to you.
No, I think I will attempt to do what I did earlier. And,
Okay. Actually, I realized I was supposed to roll traps, so that makes more sense anyway. Sorry, I didn't realize because if you know you failed the roll and I say there's no traps, then you know there's a trap. So
I did poorly. There's no.
So you shouldn't roll it. Okay. You definitely see a few mounds where you're certain there are mines. You see a few flat spots of ground where you're pretty certain there isn't anything.
All right.
You see about 3 of them.
So, knowing where the mines are,
yeah,
I would like to.
Yes.
Move through, getting not like close, but close-ish to those, because generally, if there's a mine, there's not going to be another one right next to it.
Okay, give me a dex roll for that kind of precision.
It's 12. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's 10.
Sorry, we
You're fine.
changed things around. It was going to be 12, but then it's 10. Sorry.
Oh, well, you changed it around before you ever showed it to me.
Well, no, because yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, failure by 2.
Failure by 2.
Okay, let's see. All right, Ian. Here's your moment. Higher or lower?
Oh goodness. Oh geez. Higher.
You got out of the minefield.
Oh.
I wasn't going to straight up kill you, but you would have taken some heavy damage.
I was assuming.
Okay. Yeah. So you got out of the minefield without any problems.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, with some problems, but without any incidents.
I didn't explode.
All right. So there is one more thing before one more landmark before the what's it called? The encampment.
The encampment. All right.
So you can see the last landmark on your thing is what looks like a bridge, a small, not wooden rope bridge, but still a kind of rickety, disrepaired bridge over a large ravine in this moon.
Large ravine.
It's probably about 80 feet across, and you can't see the bottom.
Great.
So it's not massive, but it's big.
It's big, and it probably would be bad to fall in.
Most likely. I mean, this moon. I would like to say this moon does have a lower gravity, not incredibly low, but yeah, because it is a moon.
Okay. So, are there any troops of either side around this bridge?
It does look like on the side of the bridge you're on, there is a pretty large battalion of Kachanian soldiers. On the other side of the bridge, there is a large amount of Cortholian. It looks like they're kind of not converging in the center, but they're definitely fighting to keep them from traversing over this bridge. The encampment is on the other side, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. I'll head towards the Kachanian soldiers.
Okay. You can get up to the Kachanian platoon with no problems.
Can I find whoever appears to be in charge of this particular group?
Let's see if you can. Actually, you can roll perception for this because you'd know.
Right.
You'd know if you saw him.
I would think.
Ooh, quite good. 6.
5, 6, yeah.
Yeah, you can see kind of in the towards the center front of the group, you see kind of, it looks like a flag bearer kind of holding this the flag of Kachania. You can see the planetary flag you've seen a few times. Right. And you see near him, you see somebody who has a few more stripes than everyone else. So that's probably him.
All right. He's near the front?
Yeah, near the front.
All right.
Not like at the front line, but near it.
Right. I would like to get up close to him.
Okay. I'd say once if the Kachanian soldiers who notice you kind of take a double take, and once they realize that you're not a preacher, like they see your mercenary kind of gear, right. And they don't so much like clear out, but they do make a path for you.
All right. I'll get up next to him and say, "All right, I'm here to help. What's the play?"
So far we're just holding them off from getting across this bridge as long as we can. We've got a pretty big encampment on the other side of this ravine, and if they got over to this side, they'd make a mess of everything so far. The minefield will hold them off, but not for that long if they get past us.
Indeed. Well, I kind of need to get across.
We can give you covering fire, but I can't waste too many men on this.
That's all right. Actually, do we have any more long-ranged capabilities over here? Something that could actually start. Well, no, that.
I mean, we have about 4 artillery. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, because if we can cause panic in the actual closer to the encampment, they might break up a little bit here to try and start putting out some fires.
It's not a bad plan. Roll tactics for me. You did actually pick a pretty good character for the decisions you're making. I say character like you're a different person. You know what I mean.
I rolled very poorly.
Yeah, you
I rolled a
did.
16.
16 isn't great.
It's not.
Okay. So you have the idea. You don't really know how you'd be able to pull it off. This guy might, but you tell it to him.
Yeah.
Let's see. He doesn't think it's a great idea. He basically says, I could, but we got limited ammunition. I don't know if I want to waste something on a gambit like that.
Yeah. You have a point. All right. Well,
this bridge is probably about like 20 feet wide, if that makes a difference to you. I just didn't say. I realized I didn't say that one specific dimension.
So what materials is the bridge made out of again?
It looks like it's a type of stone. What type of stone you couldn't discern for certain, but it looks like some kind of like marble, granite, like that coloration. It looks pretty sturdy, but it's not like huge.
Right.
It's not a suspension bridge. It looks like it's a brace on the underside of the ravine.
That's good. All right.
And on the top is just kind of flat. Like think Bridge of Eldon.
Right. Do we have
explosives? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, I was thinking like flammables. So like essentially something that would burn quickly, doing damage, and then leave.
And then leave is the hard part.
Yeah.
I'd say. Are you asking him this?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so he basically says, "Well, we've got some empty bottles of fuel stationed back, and we've got plenty of extra fuel for the tanks and things. And in theory, we could make some rudimentary Molotovs, but I don't know if that's quite what you want."
It's something, because if we can get them to thin out at least on the bridge, we can make a push when they're in chaos and burning.
It's not a horrible plan. He kind of calls someone over, and you see he gives them you don't hear him. He's kind of talking quietly, but he gives them an order, and you see they kind of start heading off, and they break off from the group and head back towards the what looks like towards the medical encampment.
Right.
He says if you can hold out for about 15 minutes, then we can go through with that plan, unless you got a better one.
Nope, I'd say that's the best I got.
Our mission is just to hold them off the bridge, but we'll help you get through them in whatever way we can. It's not going to cause significant losses.
I truly appreciate it, and I would absolutely not wish you to take significant damage on my account.
Okay, so are you just kind of waiting here for that?
Yeah, I'll just wait.
You're just surveying the situation.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're looking for, or are you just basically waiting? Because it will be about 20 minutes, he said.
Yeah, I would like to try and look for patterns of attack, if they surge forward at any certain command or anything.
Okay. Oh wow, that's that's a 5. Okay. Yeah. So you do notice one thing. It looks like because like I said earlier, you've been seeing there are not frequent but occasional volleys of fire from the flagship down at the ground,
Right.
and it looks like every time one of those fires, you hear the loud boom. It looks like they change formation.
That is useful.
Which isn't terribly useful, but it's something.
Yeah, well, because
you can't notice any rhythm to what formation they're changing to, but you can tell they do change when that occurs.
That's all right. A change does bring automatic chaos. So if we can attack during one of those, then that would add another layer, and that might give me a good opportunity to get through.
Okay. Just short update. I see the time. We're just gonna get to the end of this, and then I'll stop that.
Yeah.
A little bit over. Not a problem.
It's all right.
Okay, yeah. So you're just waiting for him to get back now.
Yeah.
So the soldier arrives. He kind of has a small kind of grav cart, and he has a lot of bottles and a few canisters of fuel.
All right.
Yeah, and basically,
all right.
some of the soldiers said about putting them together and everything.
That's perfect.
It looks like you probably have about 40 Molotovs.
That's a good number. All right. So, those who are going to be throwing,
give me a leadership roll.
A leadership roll?
Yeah.
Do I have?
I don't think you do, but
I have public speaking. But...
Actually, that works just as well. Give me public speaking.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I'm not bad at this. That's a 14. I can roll under 14.
Just to get your idea
Hey!
across well.
That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's success. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's success by 6.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. Go for it.
So I will say, all right, so when the next volley from the flagship comes, I need you, as they are changing their configuration, throw the Molotovs into the very middle of what they're doing and trying to create as much chaos as possible. And anyone else can lay down cover fire, and I'm going to be trying to get across the bridge. Also, this might help us maybe even take the bridge if it goes extremely well, but no promises. All
Okay.
right.
They just seem to all be nodding. Like some of them are still putting together the Molotovs and things like that. Yeah, you just get a kind of general murmur of like, yeah, that makes sense. Kind of.
Fantastic.
No specific call outs or anything.
Right. But
Yeah. So now
Everyone
you're just waiting for the
understands.
next volley.
absolutely.
All right. So the next volley comes, and are you just making a dash for it as soon as that happens?
Yeah.
Do you have a Molotov yourself, or are you leaving that to them?
No, I'll leave that to them.
Okay. So the volley comes, and you kind of get like a surge of, about 40 soldiers come with you. And, actually, you probably start going a little bit before the volley.
Yeah.
You planned this out, so this makes sense. And about right when the volley strikes, you're about at the thing, and they start to change formation. And the soldiers all, you roll for group combat. Ooh, nice. Okay, the soldiers all kind of get a pretty good kind of like two pretty even lines, and it looks like they
Right.
kind of clear out. And some of the preachers get burned, and some of them are now they're just kind of avoiding the fire. And you have a pretty clear path through the center.
Perfect.
There's one or two who are still in that center path, but they look kind of frantically like they're trying to join a configuration. They're not able to
Right.
get past the fire.
That is exactly what I wanted.
They don't
Yes.
seem like they're focused on you.
Fantastic. I will take that opportunity to just go.
Okay, so you just go and you get past pretty much all of them. Let me see. Wow, they roll really bad, and your platoon rolled really well.
Yay.
Yeah, they seem like they're just frantically trying to get information, and they're not able to focus on anything else until that occurs. And you get past them, and there's kind of this large empty stretch of land between this bridge and this platoon here and the encampment, and you don't see anybody over here.
That's suspicious. I don't see anybody.
Not really. You just see the encampment, and even then you see like maybe one guard on the wall, and that's it.
All right. Do I see any entrances to the encampment?
Oh yeah, you see one gate that's currently, you see like a portcullis kind of gate, and it's currently
Right.
open.
It's open.
It looks like this was made scrounged together out of materials they found nearby. Like this does very much look like
Right.
a wooden kind of like log, like rudimentary encampment.
Oh, maybe I should have grabbed one of those Molotovs.
Well,
Set the whole thing
you
on
don't know
fire.
how well. Also, it is trace atmosphere. They don't burn for long.
That's fair. No, that's why I didn't need them for that. All right. I would like to. You say I only see one guard.
An open area makes me very.
You could shoot the guard if you'd like, but otherwise,
I could. How
There's
far
just-
away is he?
are you if you're just at the beginning of the opening, he's a good 80 feet from you. That's in yards. That's 3, 6, 9, 12. He's like 30 yards from you.
All right.
He's like 24 yards from you ish.
Okay. Then I'll move towards towards him.
Okay. It is an
Out of-
empty field, but you can attempt to be stealthy if you'd like, or you can just start strolling up.
I
It's up
I
to
don't
you.
think I'll be stealthy, but I won't be like I won't dash up. I'll be
Okay.
more cautious.
Okay, so you're just kind of taking a cautious approach, but you're not being stealthy. You're just on watch.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you get basically. Are you getting all the way up to the front?
Yeah.
You get basically all the way up to the front. He doesn't seem to have spotted you, and nothing else has happened in this empty area.
Interesting.
You are almost in the shadow of the flagship now. It's gotten a little bit darker.
great. Love being under giant things that can kill me.
Well, they're probably not going to shoot their own encampment, but
I would assume,
probably not.
but they still could.
They could, yeah.
That would be very bad for me. Oh, and everyone else in there. All right. Then he hasn't noticed me yet.
Doesn't appear to.
How close am I now?
About he's a little ways up, but
Yeah.
not that far. Probably like 8 yards.
All right. Well, if there's anyone, shooting might not actually be a good idea because if there's anyone who can see him going down would be very obvious.
The choice is yours.
Yeah, I think now that I'm closer and more not under a bit of a shadow.
Now you're gonna be stealthy.
Now I'd like to try and be stealthier.
Okay.
As I move towards. The
Okay.
main
Give me a
gate.
little roll. Ooh, not great.
Not great. That's a
Okay, no, I
13,
see. That's
yeah.
a 3. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So let me see. Okay, so you get all the way up to the front, and you get basically. Are you heading inside?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, as you get to the right at the portcullis, as you step across the threshold, you hear basically kind of like a whistle blow, sounds almost like an alarm go off, and the portcullis does come slam down behind you.
Well,
It looks like they meant to shut you out, but they were a little too late,
that's all right.
which is either good or bad for you, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
So you can see out into the thing, and it looks like a pretty empty area in the middle. You can see there's this kind of square of walls and rudimentary kind of rooms. It looks like in this encampment, and the rest is just the center is this open area
Right.
that you can see out ahead of you.
Cool. In this open area,
Mhm.
first of all, do I see any of the 3 that were sent by?
You don't see anybody.
All right, so I don't see anybody.
Mm-mm.
Do I see any ways like onto the walls?
You can see there are some like ladders and some kind of staircases, but I mean they're like on the other side or from what you can see.
Okay, and then on the other sides,
Yeah.
I see other guards.
You see it looks like maybe one guard on each wall. They don't seem to be looking for you. They just seem to be keeping a firm guard outside.
That's all right.
Like that's their job.
Well,
But you do still hear this alarm kind of going off.
okay. Then I would like to head towards a compound of rooms.
Okay.
Still attempting to be stealthy. As best I can.
Yeah,
in
okay.
this
I'll
surroundings.
give me one more roll.
Please roll better this time. Not 2 6s. Just that. That's not bad.
That's almost the same, but
Shut up.
okay.
It wasn't 2 6s. Though.
Okay.
That's 5.
All right.
That's actually
So you're kind of keeping your head down and you're moving around. And you step out into to get out of this hallway, you have to step out into the clearing. And you step out into the clearing and you're trying to keep in the shadows. You're in one big shadow, but you're
Right.
trying to stay kind of like out of sight. And as you step forward again to the clearing, you hear a loud kind of like a boom land behind you. Would you like to turn
I
around?
almost don't want to turn around, but that would be a very, very bad idea. I will turn around.
Okay, you turn around and you see this massive 8-foot man standing behind you, and he has this one large crimson arm, and he's just completely ripped. And you just see he kind of raises it up in the air, and he goes, "Oh, look who's come to play!" And that's where we'll end today.
Hello, Warhammer. Wow, it's almost like he uses that arm to kill people.
All right, that was a
Well,
pretty good
surprise.
session.
That was good. Commanded some soldiers, threw some Molotovs.
I corrected it while you were gone. I think I might have misspoken earlier. The bequeathed are the side the Sakamoras are on, and the inheritors are the side Joe's on, just in case I got it backwards earlier.
Let me check.
Just for you. I think I just wasn't sure.
You got it backwards.
Sorry, that's my
That's
mistake entirely. Sometimes I speak too fast.
The bequeathed are the Sakamoras.
And the inheritors the other ones, and you're the other ones.
Yes, you got that one right. Inheritors.
That was a much better session than the last time. I'm much happier with that one. Didn't get quite as far as I thought. I thought we'd get through this battle, but that's just my planning error. And that just leaves me with more pre-planned material for next time.
Yes.
You have a good little time.
I enjoyed that.
All right.
immensely.
Well, then, that will be the end of today's stream. As always, you can check out our social media in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. If you have anybody who you think would like it, as always, we appreciate any extra viewers. And if the more viewers there are, the more people there are in the chat, the more people there are for you to discuss with.
Yep.
And also, if you want to listen on the go and the YouTube app's no good, you can check out our Stitcher, which is another app, pretty good one for that.
And so you can listen while you're in the car or out and about, or just don't want to have your phone constantly open,
Yeah.
wasting battery.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Are we good for next week, or will you be gone?
Next week. Let me look at my calendar.
We should really check this before the thing.
should.
But we're inconfident. You know how it is, aren't we all?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
I'll be doing stuff over the weekend.
All right, so we'll probably be
Um,
fine. If it turns out we're not, we'll post an update beforehand on our social medias.
We'll announce it.
I think we can post an update on our YouTube. I've never done it before, but we should be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, as always, thanks for joining us. I was your Game Master, Nev.
I was your player, Ian.
And this was Roll Out of Bed. Thank you very much. Hope
Thank
you had a
you.
good time listening.
See you next time.
See ya!